Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a character artist here at the Animation Academy at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I am here today to teach you how to draw Donald Duck in honor of his 80th birthday on June 9th. So of course we're going to start with a circle, and the best way to draw circles is your whole arms. Your shoulder naturally rotates. We're going to practice first really quick. Your whole arm in rotation. Keep everything stationary, you'll actually make a circle. So the key is you want to start your lines out really, really lightly, because then we're going to go back over everything with our darker lines. So we're going to start out in the middle of our paper with a circle about the size of a grapefruit or a softball. And go around multiple times. This is key to good circles, repetition, going around you're able to fix your flat spots, your indents, anything that makes it not a circle. You don't want to worry about it being perfect. It takes a lot of practice to make a perfect circle. The guidelines are there to tell us where we put the pieces of the character, like eyes, nose, mouth, etc., etc., etc. And we need to know where the center of his head is. Well, he's going to be looking off to the left, so we're going to do a curved guideline, making a crescent moon shape on the inside of your circle. And we'll go across the bottom of your circle with a horizontal guideline, as if it were a ball. So what we're going to do is duckbill next. And duckbills can be kind of tricky, so just do the best job that you can. I'm going to start with the bridge of his bill, which is just like the bridge of your nose. You're going to go right over where the horizontal guideline is touching the circle. We're going to draw a short line running into the center guideline. And you're going to curve through that guideline and down to the horizontal guideline, so you've created a little bridge. We're going to continue that line to the right. I'm going to dip down a little bit below that guideline, curve up on the inside of your circle, and then hook to the outside of your circle. Make a little hook shape. Because Donald's got a lot of little hook shapes. This particular little hook shape is his cheek. Inside the cheek, we're going to draw a little curve. It's going to go inside and outside of the circle. That is his dimple. Now the next line is the main part of his bill, and it's probably the hardest part of your entire drawing. So you want to just do your best at this. Try it a couple times if you need to. But we're going to start right in the middle of the dimple and follow the curve of the circle to the left. I'm going to leave the circle. As soon as I'm lined up at the bottom of the guideline, you're going to curve back up and curve out, stopping about 1.5 inches away from the side of your circle. The main thing to remember here is you want to make sure you're curving down and back up. Don't curve down and down. That'll make him look like he got hit in the face with a frying pan. So you're going to take your pencil, lay it down on the left side of your circle, straight up and down. Make sure you can see at least 1.5 inches of line going past your bill. If you can't, then just simply draw it longer. Now to show the curve of the bill, we're going to draw a hook that's going to go around this line. It's going to shoot across the top, being parallel to the line below it. Now because his head is turned, that means everything on this side of the guideline is farther away from us, so everything is going to appear smaller, look a little bit different. So we're going to draw his other cheek. His other cheek is going to look like a letter C shape. The top letter C is touching the circle, while the bottom is just hovering. We can connect that cheek to the bridge of the bill simply by just following that piece of the circle that we already drew. And then we're going to draw a little hook shape on the inside. It's going to curve out to the end of the bill for the top of the bill. Should be straight across on the bridge of the bill. I'm going to draw him with his mouth closed, mostly because that's the best way to have Donald really is with his mouth closed. You can actually understand him better that way. So we're going to follow the curve of the cheek around into the jawline, follow the exact same curve of the bill all the way around until you get to the end. Then you'll curve out slightly and curve back in, overlapping that line of the front and giving him a bottom lip. All right, so now we can take this time to hop in. I'm going to darken out our lines for the duckbill. You just want to make sure that you don't draw through this line right here because his bottom lip is in front of that line. So do not touch that line right there. Other than that, go ahead and darken in the lines for the duckbill. Now back in the late 1930s, leading all the way into the 1950s, Donald was the most popular Disney character. He outsold Mickey in merchandise. He has more animated feature short cartoons under his belt than any other Disney character. In fact, he was so popular that Walt himself actually called him the Gable of their stable in reference to Clark Gable, who was the biggest movie star of the day. And in the height of Donald's popularity in the early 1940s, he actually managed to do something no other Disney characters ever managed to do. That was to star from beginning to end in 2 back-to-back animated feature films. That was, of course, Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros. All right, I'm going to draw a little curve above the cheek as a little muscle to hold that bill in place, like so. His eyes are next. Donald has huge eyes. They're larger than any of the other Disney ducks. They're about a quarter larger than Daisy's eyes, a little bit larger than Scrooge's eyes, and they're 5 times larger than Huey, Dewey, and Louie's eyes. It's inside the dips in the bill right here, and they're shaped like dinosaur eggs. So very lightly, we're going to start right in here, curve up towards the top of the circle. I'm going to shoot down to that dip in the bill. Nice, big dinosaur egg shape. His other eye is going to look a little bit different because his head's turned. Actually looks like a bent croquet wicket. If you're not sure what a croquet wicket is, play croquet, it's fun. And we're going to follow the curve of the circle up. I'm going to shoot down. It's a little bit smaller because it's farther away from us. Then we get the eyebrows. The eyebrows follow the same curve as the top of the eye. So we're going to start about a quarter of the way down the eye, curve up and into the inside, like so. The other one just follows the top curve of the eye and leaves the circle a little bit at the top. Then his pupils. There are good ways to draw pupils and bad ways to draw pupils. The good way is to simply draw the whole shape. Some people get lazy. They draw half circles or slanted lines. That makes characters cross-eyed or lazy-eyed, look like their eyes are rolling to the back of their head. So to avoid that, all you have to do is draw the whole shape. So we're going to start just inside the eye on the right and draw a nice, tall oval. And the other pupil, we're not going to see all of it because his head's turned away from us. It's going to be pushed against the inside of the eye. We still want to see that curve away from the side of the eye, though, or you'll make him lazy-eyed in that eye. We can go ahead and darken those lines in for the eyes and eyebrows and pupils. Then you turn your pencil aside, use it like a paintbrush, and shade in those pupils. The faster you shade with the side of your pencil, the more even your surface. You really don't ever want to use the tip of your pencil to shade. The only thing that'll do is frustrate you, take you forever, look really bad when you're done, break your pencil, and give you carpal tunnel. So if you want to avoid all that stuff, just use the side of your pencil and shade really, really fast. The great thing about shading like this is that you could literally just grab your pencil and flail your arm back and forth. If you come in contact with a piece of paper, you will make an even surface. It's just that easy. People tend to overthink shading. You don't need to overthink shading. Just go in there, get the job done quickly, efficiently, and it looks better than if you take your time, oddly enough. All right, up on the top of his head, he's got his feathers. He's just going to run up there and scribble in some feathers, literally scribbling. You can give him a little feather cowlick on the back of his head. You can darken those lines and finish up the tops and the sides of his head. Donald owes most of his existence to a man named Clarence Nash, or Clarence Ducky Nash, as he was later known. Clarence was 29 when he auditioned in front of Walt Disney, doing a rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb in a funny duck voice. And Walt loved it so much that they hired him, created an entire character around him, and thus Donald Duck was born. He was actually imitating his pet goat that he had was growing up on a farm. So Donald's voice actually comes from a goat. He eventually retired and he passed the torch on to an animator for the company named Tony Anselmo, and he's been doing the job since 1986. All right, we're going to go ahead and give him his hat next. He's got that French sailor beret. And we're going to start where the feathers touch the eyebrow. We're going to do a short curve and very light little curve just above those feathers, or you can even go through them if you need to, as long as you do it lightly, and just behind the other eyebrow through there. And we can darken that pretty much as soon as you get that in place. Top of the hat's actually really easy. It looks like a pinto bean, but all it is 2 intersecting letter U shapes. So as long as you know your alphabet, you're golden. All right, so what we want to do is we want to start right where the hatband touches the eyebrow. And just very lightly, we're going to curve up and back down. No bells and whistles to it. It's a letter U. You even flip your paper upside down, look at it, and say, oh, yep, it's a letter U. I'm going to draw a second letter U overlapping the first or running it behind the first eyebrow. And he's got his tassel. His tassel's a long letter W. I was just going to throw that off the back. Letter W is coming off the side. And you can go ahead and darken those lines. Ever since Donald was created, he's played a big part in the world of comic books. And a lot of Donald's popularity in comics, most of it actually, comes from one man. His name was Carl Barks, and he's a Disney legend. He was known as the Duck Man, or the Good Duck Artist. He created Scrooge McDuck and Gladstone Gander and Gyro Gearloose, the town of Duckburg, and wrote all those stories that were later adapted into DuckTales. All right, we're going to finish up with his neck, and we're going to attach to the base of his skull, which is the best place that I could find to put it. So right where this guideline touches the circle, I'm going to very lightly draw through the bill and come out the bottom. You can darken the part from below the bill. Anytime you draw any Disney duck, the inside of their neck is always attached to the center guideline to their head. So you can follow the guideline down and then curve out, of course, very lightly through the bill. And once you get below the bill, and darken that line. And of course, anytime we finish our artwork, the main thing we want to do is sign your drawing. Very, very important to always sign your work. All right, and there we have it. He doesn't look 80 years old now, does he? Thanks so much for drawing with me, guys, and happy birthday, Donald Duck.